Good morning and welcome to Biomechanics 101. This is going to be the video that we will refer to throughout this whole series. This is what's going to make it make sense to you when I ask you or show you drills and tell you what needs to happen. Okay, so what we've got, this is my demonstration horse for today. This is TJ, and as we all know, a horse's top line starts at the pole and it ends at their croup. Now, the top line, the reason it's important in developing our horses is that when we get it developed, it works like a suspension bridge for the legs. And if we know every gait, walk, trot, lope, there's always at least 1 foot off the ground. And if we do not have their top line developed in such a way to act like a suspension bridge, then when those horses are moving those feet forward, there's nothing to let them suspend their leg as they move it forward freely. So what happens is they have to scramble to the ground. Okay, so they pick their foot up and they scramble to get their balance. They pick their foot up and they scramble to get their balance. So what we have to do is we have to develop their top line to act like a suspension bridge. So when they move that foot forward, it is free to, it's not having to get to the ground to be balanced because it's suspended up there and can just swing forward freely. To give you a demonstration, I'm going to get Jessica, my assistant, to come out here. And this is what we want to do with our suspension bridge, with this hand being the pole, this hand being the croup. And if I get that horse round like this, then Jessica's going to push on my fingers, and you notice she can't push them down. But if I get my horse, if I leave my horse like this, which is the way most horses are, or if we create a hollow back, then if she pushes on my fingers, everything breaks. It's very easy for her, so there's no suspension bridge there. Thank you, Jessica. All right, so that is very important, and that is why we start creating this. That's why everybody that you talk to that's an effective trainer will tell you you have to have them soft in the pole, you have to have them soft in the rib cage, you have to have them soft throughout their whole body. That is why they're developing a suspension bridge through the back so the legs can move forward. Now, some common problems is we always we hear people say you have to drive the horse forward to create that drive from behind and that soft forward motion. That works as long as you have the front end fixed. We're building a suspension bridge, remember. So if we do not have our horse flexed at the pole and the front of the suspension bridge started, we cannot drive the back end forward into it. All that happens is we're only building the back side of the bridge that way. And you can't push something together into the middle, what you want to do for your suspension bridge, if you don't have the front end built first. Okay? So, that is why we are going to show you how to develop that suspension bridge in a progression that makes sense to the horse, and now hopefully you'll understand it. The other part of biomechanics that's going to help you understand what we do and why we do certain things is alignment. And alignment has to do with their pole, their face, and their shoulders. Okay? If I tip my horse's face this way, his shoulders are going to go that way. All right? And if you don't believe me, you can get somebody to do this or put your hand on the withers when somebody tips your horse's face, and you can actually feel the withers go that way. If I tip my horse's face this way, the shoulders come this way. Okay? Now, if I take and I get my horse's face flexed at the pole, and I turn his face like this, with his face vertical to the ground on the same plane as his shoulders, the shoulders stay standing upright. So our whole goal when we start to guide our horse's face so we can push the body after it is to get that face to stay perpendicular to the ground. That will make sure his shoulders are perpendicular to the ground. All right. The next thing that we need to know about our horse's biomechanics is that a horse's spine has zero amount of lateral flexion. All the lateral flexion, well, I say zero, they may have 1/8 of an inch where they can actually move their spine sideways. You can see I can't move with my spine, I can't move this like this, but I can move it up and down. So what happens is all the lateral flexion we get comes from the neck, the shoulder, and the hip. All right? You cannot make your horse laterally flex its rib cage. What you can do is make your horse soften his rib cage, and that's basically the abdomen muscles. Because when the abdomen muscles tighten, that pulls the back down, which makes it hard for us to develop our suspension bridge. Okay? This is all going to come into play when we start doing our drills and I start telling you how to use your hands and legs to develop this suspension bridge that will allow you to create what we call forward energy instead of just forward motion. All right? So anyways, that is Biomechanics 101. And we are going to refer to this over and over throughout these drills.